Our third and final company presenting is Butlr. Butlr is offering IoT intelligence for indoor movement and well-being. Butlr is an MIT Media Lab spinout. And so introducing CEO and co-founder for Butlr, Honghao Deng. Honghao Deng is an award-winning innovator and computational designer and created the field of responsive, context-aware architecture. Among his many accomplishments and experiences, Honghao is a former researcher at City Science Group MIT Media Lab. Welcoming now Honghao to speak on Butlr.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm Honghao, co-founder and CEO of Butlr. My background is both in architecture and computer science. I earned my degree at Harvard University for computational design. I spun the company off from MIT Media Lab 2019 alongside with my lab mate at the Media Lab City Science Group. So since in buildings is our bread and butter, it's my pleasure to introduce what we build here at Butlr. Our mission is to build the world's most scalable, privacy-friendly people sensing platform, transforming how spaces respond to people. So this tiny wireless sensor installed in seconds, helping business to make smarter decisions from improving operational efficiency and to life-saving use cases. We spin the company off from Media Lab 2019. The slides used to be 2 rows of PhD from both MIT and Berkeley. I call it a complete nerdy marriage of the technology. We launched our V1 sensor in 2022. So 3 years in, we become a category leader in the smart building occupancy sensing space, particularly in workplace. And we are emerging to be the leader in healthcare setting too. So now it's definitely a little bit bigger group than just my lab mates. We're a strong team of 60 plus teammates and have offices in San Francisco, Boston, and Tokyo, bottom right. And we deploy our sensor globally. In the past few years, we already deployed 20,000 sensors covering 40 million square feet for largest enterprises in the world. You might can recognize from the picture here some of the top Fortune 50 campuses. And we have recently completed our first full campus implementation for senior living in Sweden, Halmstad City for 12 buildings. Today, my presentation will cover both office use cases and senior living use cases in the smart building, smart cities environment. So in the past decades, there have only been 2 types of sensors detect people scale well in the cities and also buildings. One is a motion sensor on the right. It does not really sense people, any movement like a puppy, like trigger it. Or during the nighttime in the building, it turns the lights off and leave you in the dark when you don't move. And you have to make a dance like this to turn lights on. Another accurate alternative is camera on the left, but camera intrude people's privacy. So no one wants a future where camera fly everywhere. So we designed something right set in between. It has accuracy of a camera, but without privacy sensitive information. It also filter out the puppy. We're the first and only sensor that can only use surface temperature to sense people's location, body posture in real time, and wireless with multiple years of battery life. It's really not eyes, it's the nerve cells that feels the use of the space and understand what users need. So the version of future I believe in with AI is spatial intelligence. Buildings is the world's largest user interface with 7 billion daily active users now can finally reach their potential with anonymous user data we provided. We capture over 1 billion data frame daily with just 20,000 sensors. So this is just a tiny drop of water to transfer billions of square feet of ordinary space of the world into space that can understand individual needs, from space efficiency use cases to life-saving use cases. So our first beachhead market, like I mentioned, is office space. This UI is a little bit old, but data is very representative. Workplace managers never know there are hundreds of leads being used through the batch data. This was a public company's San Francisco office, and the global workplace manager in Canada was very proud of office design from the batch data. They designed for 25 people, and there's 25 batch right every day. So she was very proud of it until she installed Butlr and find out what actually happened. So they do their morning stand-up, and then they have lunch, and at 1 p.m., people empty office. So they were just there for the free lunch. That's the cruel reality. So the real estate team is a small team that makes hundreds of these decisions. 2-people team as a public company probably manage 50 to 100 leases. They really need the visibility into this data. Otherwise, they may just end up with 10%, which is potentially at minimum 4 to 5 visits, people just came in for free food and completely wasted of the space. And this is a few $1 million of the leads at least. And senior living side might be certain rooms that never got enough resources. And that's not just money, but people's life. So you can manage those data and also see through it like stock ticker. You can also take the data we provided and then use our AI platform to suggest new design based on the sensor data of the office usage. You can see even the colors matching here of the rendering AI suggested. So we have built many integration for building controls from smart cleaning, also to HVAC, to life-saving nurse call system. And many of these building automations can lead to carbon reductions. So in senior living side of use case, besides body posture and location recognition, fall detection, the most important thing actually, fall prevention is the biggest value add. So in this deployment, each room is covered with 3 sensors to understand patient's movement, an alert nurse when they're out of bed in nighttime and no motion in the daytime. So this is more of near real-time prevention features. So you have a few seconds to a minute to detect and respond and prevent a potential incident. We also can do daily analytics, number of time going to the toilet to guide and diagnose urinary tract infections, UTIs, which is a top emergency in senior living, and also lead to reduction of fall if provided early prevention to prevent the UTI. So you can see this specific room have increasing visit of the toilet. You can also summarize daily reports through our customized GPT using our sensor data instead of manual logging. So one day, when you're walking into any buildings, when you look up, you'll sort of see Butlr. That's all my
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And fantastic. Really interesting stuff you're doing. You mentioned it briefly, but would love to dive into it since we have the time, what the sustainability benefit of the sensors are.
Mm-hmm. So as I mentioned, there's like a dozen of integration we do with our sensor data from what you're just seeing a little bit, the HVAC control from number of users in the building to drive like turning on and off HVAC. This wasn't a thing that could be done from traditional motion sensor because you cannot wave a hand and control and turn on the full rooftop machine. So you have to base on the trends of people, which is the definite number of people using the space, right? And then you cannot use like air quality because it's the aftermath. Usually it's already like really high CO2 and then like crank it up and it's not power efficient at all. So that's just one use case. We also have a smart cleaning. If nobody is using the toilet, there's both spectrum. Sometimes in the airport, you see really dirty like toilet, right? You see those tablets, you have to like say really unhappy with it, and someone came in. But like through like usage data, you can also drive smart cleaning automatically. And then a lot of cases, nobody was using it, and then they were regular cleaning. This is also operational efficiency improvement and also operation carbon reduction in terms of operating the buildings. And then respectively, so from utilizing just the sensor data for real estate footprint planning, you can reduce 6 tons of CO2 per employee to roughly like 2.5 tons, like which I just showed just now. And then like from HVAC control, it can reduce another 0.3 tons of CO2 per employee. We have a paper around it and also won an award like was in the recent competition from World Economic Forum in San Francisco.
Wow. Well, congratulations for that. And I can definitely see how the recognition was well deserved. Well, thank you, Honghao. Really appreciate you joining us today, and to all the companies that presented as part of MIT Startup Lightning Talks today. Now I'd like to turn it back to our fearless leader throughout and my colleague, Graham Rong, who will close us out today for this webinar with his final remarks.